The vast emptiness of space stretched out like an endless ocean, dotted with stars that flickered in the cold silence. For most people, space was a place of wonder and fear, but for Alex Carter, it was just another job. He was a salvage operator, one of many who roamed the galaxy looking for abandoned ships or lost treasures. But today, something was different. Alex sat in the cockpit of his ship, a small but reliable craft known as the Raven. He stared at the blinking display in front of him. The signal was weak, barely there, but it was enough to get his attention. It was a distress signal, a call for help from a ship that had been lost to the galaxy for decades. An abandoned ship, this far out. He muttered to himself, adjusting the ship's course. The coordinates led to a forgotten sector of space, a place where most ships avoided. The signal had been drifting in deep space for years, but now it was coming back to life. Alex couldn't resist the pull. The thought of uncovering the mystery of the long-lost ship filled him with both excitement and a sense of danger. As the Raven neared the signal's origin, Alex noticed something strange on his scanners. There was nothing, no debris, no wreckage, just a single, enormous shape slowly drifting in the vastness of space. It looked like a ship, but it was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. The hull was smooth, almost organic, with glowing patterns that seemed to pulse with life. It was massive, dwarfing Alex's own ship by far. Could this be it? Alex whispered, his fingers trembling slightly as he navigated closer. He switched to manual control and slowly approached the ship. His heart beat faster as the ship's surface came into clearer view. It was no ordinary wreck. It looked pristine, as if it had never suffered the wear of time. The hull shimmered under the dim light of distant stars, and the faint glow of what seemed like energy currents ran through the ship like veins. Despite the excitement building in him, a strange unease settled in his stomach. Ships like this didn't just disappear without a reason. Something had caused this vessel to be abandoned, and it hadn't returned to the galaxy for years. Was it a fluke, or had something terrible happened to the crew? Alex shook off the thought. He had a job to do. The ship was there, and it was his chance to find something valuable, something that could change his life. His hands worked quickly, preparing the Raven for docking. "All right, let's see what you're hiding," he said to the abandoned ship, as if it could hear him. As the Raven connected to the docking port, Alex felt a strange sense of calm wash over him. It was almost as if the ship itself was welcoming him, but there was no time to dwell on it. Alex grabbed his gear and made his way to the airlock. The ship's door slid open with a soft hiss, and he stepped into the unknown. The silence inside was deafening, the kind of silence that felt unnatural. Every step he took echoed through the corridors of the ship, as if the vessel had been waiting for someone to enter. The air was cold, stale, but breathable. His flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing a hallway that looked untouched by time. This wasn't a wreck. This was something else entirely. Alex took another step, his heart racing. Something told him that he wasn't just about to uncover a treasure. He was about to find something much bigger, something that would change everything. As Alex stepped deeper into the ghost ship, the eerie silence surrounded him like a heavy blanket. His footsteps echoed in the narrow hallway, but it felt like the ship was holding its breath. The walls, smooth and metallic, were lined with strange symbols and markings that Alex couldn't understand. The lighting, dim but steady, flickered as if the ship was waking up from a long slumber. The air felt different, colder, almost as if the ship was alive, breathing. His flashlight beam swept across the walls, illuminating strange, otherworldly designs etched into the surface. Some looked like patterns, others resembled writing, but none were familiar to him. The markings seemed to glow faintly, as if they were reacting to his presence. Alex's curiosity grew, but so did a sense of unease. "What is this place?" Alex muttered under his breath. It was unlike any ship he had ever seen, alien, ancient, and strangely inviting. He couldn't shake the feeling that this ship had a story to tell, and he was about to uncover it. He moved further down the hallway, his mind racing with possibilities. Could this ship be some kind of lost relic, or was it part of a greater mystery? He had no idea, but he was determined to find out. As he rounded a corner, the hallway opened up into a large, circular room. The floor was covered in a strange, smooth material that shimmered in the dim light. In the center of the room stood a large, crystal-like structure, pulsating with a soft, rhythmic glow. It looked like the heart of the ship, and it seemed to hum in response to Alex's presence. He slowly approached the structure, his hand outstretched. The closer he got, the stronger the hum became, vibrating in his chest. The crystal's glow brightened, and Alex felt a strange connection to it. It was as if the ship itself was aware of him, aware that he had come. Suddenly, the crystal flashed with a brilliant light, and a holographic projection flickered to life in front of him. A figure appeared, an alien, tall and graceful, with sharp features and glowing eyes. The figure was not speaking in a language Alex recognized, but somehow he understood the message. "Welcome, traveler," the figure said in a deep, melodic voice. "You have found the one who has waited for you." Alex froze, his heart racing. How could this be possible? He was alone on the ship. There were no crew members, no signs of life. Yet this projection seemed to know he was here. The holographic figure continued. "The ship has chosen you. It has been dormant for centuries, but now it awakens. You are the one who will unlock its true power." Alex's mind raced as the figure's words sank in. What did this mean? What was the ship? Why had it been abandoned, and why had it chosen him? Before he could process the words, the projection disappeared, and the room fell silent once again. The crystal's glow faded slightly, but it still hummed softly, almost like a heartbeat. Alex stood still, trying to make sense of everything. He knew one thing for sure: this ship was no ordinary find. It was a key to something much bigger, and he had just scratched the surface. There was more to this place, and it was waiting for him to uncover its secrets. As he turned to leave the room, the air felt heavier, as if the ship was watching him, waiting for his next move. Alex felt both exhilarated and anxious. Whatever was ahead, he knew he couldn't turn back now. He was in too deep. As Alex continued to explore the ship, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching him. The ship, once silent and abandoned, now seemed to pulse with energy, as if it had come alive in response to his presence. The walls seemed to hum softly, and the floor beneath his boots vibrated slightly, like a heartbeat. He knew it wasn't just his imagination. There was something here, something powerful. He turned a corner and found himself in what looked like a control room. The walls were covered in panels filled with strange symbols and glowing lights, none of which Alex recognized. But in the center of the room, a large terminal sat, waiting. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, a mix of organic curves and metallic surfaces that seemed to blend seamlessly into one another. It looked like a throne, a seat for the ship's command. Alex felt a strange pull to it, as if the ship itself was inviting him to sit. He approached cautiously, his fingers grazing over the surface. The moment his hand made contact, the terminal sprang to life. The lights around him brightened, and the symbols on the panels shifted and moved. A soft voice filled the room, calm but commanding. "You have awakened the ship," it said. "It has been waiting for you." Alex's heart skipped a beat, the same voice he had heard in the hologram. This time, it wasn't a projection, but a real presence, a voice that seemed to echo inside his mind. He couldn't tell if it was coming from the ship's eye, or something more, something older. "What do you mean?" he asked aloud, his voice barely a whisper in the vast room. "The ship is alive," the voice answered, resonating in his mind. "It has been dormant, waiting for a human to activate it. Only you, with your ingenuity and curiosity, can unlock its full potential." Alex was confused. This wasn't just some ancient artifact or a treasure trove of alien technology. It was alive. The ship had chosen him, and now it was communicating with him. But why? And what was its true purpose? As if sensing his thoughts, the voice continued, "The galaxy is in danger. Forces far beyond your comprehension seek to destroy everything. This ship and you are the last hope for survival." The words sent a chill down Alex's spine. He had no idea what the ship was talking about, but there was no denying the gravity of the situation. This ship, dormant for centuries, had now awakened, and it was offering him its power. Was he ready for that responsibility? Before he could respond, the lights flickered, and the ship's hum grew louder. The ship's core, located deep within the vessel, seemed to glow brighter as if reacting to the conversation. The AI's voice, now more urgent, filled the room once again. "You must decide, human," it said. "The time is near. You can either walk away, leaving this power to be claimed by others, or you can embrace it. Choose wisely." Alex's mind raced. He could leave, walk away from this insane discovery, and live a quiet life. Or he could stay, learn the ship's secrets, and perhaps even change the fate of the galaxy. But no matter what he chose, he knew one thing: his life would never be the same again. The decision weighed heavily on him. Could he handle the power this ship was offering? Could he be the one to unlock its potential? Only one way to find out. Alex took a deep breath and made his choice. The adventure had just begun. Alex stood still for a moment, his mind swirling with the weight of the choice he had just made. The ship was alive, and it was offering him its secrets. The AI, or whatever force controlled this ancient vessel, had made it clear that humanity's survival rested on his decision. He had no idea what this ship could do, but something deep inside told him that walking away wasn't an option. The ship had chosen him, and now he had to see it through. With a deep breath, Alex stepped closer to the glowing terminal. He placed his hand on its smooth surface once more, feeling the hum of energy surge through him. The ship's lights flickered brightly, and the walls around him seemed to pulse with life, as if reacting to his presence. "You have made your choice." The voice of the ship resonated in his mind. "Now prepare yourself." Suddenly, the room grew brighter, and a series of panels on the walls opened, revealing strange alien symbols. The symbols shifted and rearranged themselves, forming a map of sorts, with pathways that led to areas deep within the ship. It was as if the ship was showing him a path, a way forward. Alex's eyes widened as he studied the map. It was vast, far larger than he had expected. The ship wasn't just a derelict vessel. It was a floating city, with rooms and chambers he hadn't even begun to explore. At the center of it all, a dark, glowing core pulsed like a heartbeat, its power immense and untapped. "This is it," Alex whispered to himself. "This is what it's all about." He turned toward the ship's core, knowing that it held the key to everything. The ship had been dormant for centuries, waiting for someone to awaken it. But what would happen if he truly unlocked its full potential? Would it bring peace, or would it bring destruction? As if sensing his uncertainty, the ship's voice spoke again. "You must venture to the core. There, you will find what you seek. The power to change the galaxy." Alex hesitated for a moment. The core was far from where he was, deep within the ship, and it was surrounded by areas that seemed to be hidden or locked. But there was no turning back. He had made his choice. The path ahead was uncertain, but it was the only path he could take. He set off toward the core, following the map displayed on the walls. The ship's layout was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, but as he walked, the ship seemed to guide him. The glowing symbols lit up the path, and the hum of the ship grew louder, almost like a voice urging him forward. Along the way, Alex came across strange rooms filled with alien technology. Some were ancient, their designs unfamiliar, while others seemed to be far ahead of anything humanity had ever created. The ship's power was vast, and as he walked, he began to understand just how much it had to offer. But there was something unsettling about it too. The deeper he went, the more Alex felt like he was being watched, by the ship or by something else. When he finally reached the core, he found it suspended in a massive chamber, surrounded by strange energy fields. It was a pulsating sphere, a swirling mass of energy that seemed to contain the power of the entire ship. Alex knew this was where the answers lay. But before he could approach, the ship's voice spoke one last time. "Are you ready?" it asked. "Once you enter, there is no turning back." Alex stood at the threshold, staring at the core. He knew this was the moment that would define everything. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, ready to unlock the secrets of the ship. And Alex stood before the ship's core, its powerful energy swirling in front of him. The air felt thick with potential, as if the entire ship was holding its breath. The soft hum of the ship, now louder than ever, echoed around him. This was it, the point of no return. The core, pulsing with energy, was the heart of the ship, and Alex knew that once he activated it, things would never be the same. The ship's voice, calm and distant, filled his mind again. "Are you ready to awaken the ship fully, human? Do you understand what this means?" Alex swallowed, trying to steady his nerves. He had seen glimpses of the ship's power. But this was different. This was the source. The ship had waited for centuries, and now it was offering him the key to unlock its full potential. The galaxy's fate, maybe even humanity's fate, was tied to this moment. The question now was, what would he do with that power? The voice continued, almost as if sensing his hesitation. "You have the choice, Alex Carter. Use this power for peace, or let it be claimed by others who will bring only destruction. The choice is yours." Alex's heart raced as his thoughts spun. The ship was offering him unimaginable power, the kind that could change everything, revolutionize technology, bring peace, or even conquer whole civilizations. It could elevate humanity, give them a place among the stars, or it could tear everything apart. He had seen the technology hidden within the ship, the weapons, the advanced tools that could be used to dominate or destroy. But the ship had already shown that it wasn't just a tool. It was alive, aware, and perhaps even wise. Peace. Alex muttered to himself. That's what he wanted. But was peace really possible with so much power? Could humanity handle it? As he stood there, lost in thought, the hum of the core grew louder, and for a moment, the ship seemed to come alive, responding to his uncertainty. It almost felt like the ship was waiting for him to make up his mind, to decide what path he would take. Alex's gaze drifted back to the core. The energy swirling inside it pulsed with a steady rhythm, as if it was calling to him. The glowing light bathed him in a soft, ethereal glow, and in that moment, everything seemed clear. He had spent his life as a salvage operator, always searching for the next big find. But now he had found something that was more than just a treasure. This was an opportunity to shape the future, for good or ill. He stepped forward, his hand outstretched toward the core. The ship's voice spoke again, but this time it sounded different, more personal, almost like a warning. Once you activate the core, there is no turning back. Are you sure this is what you want? There was no more hesitation. Alex knew what he had to do. He wasn't just a bystander in this story. He was a part of it. The ship had chosen him, and now he would choose the ship's future. "I'm ready," he said firmly. With a single motion, Alex placed his hand on the glowing surface of the core. The moment he touched it, the ship roared to life. The light from the core surged around him, and he could feel its power flood into his body, filling him with a strange sense of purpose. The ship's voice echoed in his mind one last time. As Alex's hand remained on the core, a wave of energy coursed through him. It was as if the ship had fused with his very being, connecting him to its ancient power. The force was overwhelming, but his mind remained clear. The ship had chosen him, and now it was entrusting him with its secrets. The decision had been made, and the consequences were yet to unfold. The energy from the core began to pulse more intensely, flooding the ship with power. The lights across the walls brightened, and the strange symbols on the panels shifted once again, revealing new paths, hidden chambers, and untapped systems. Alex could feel the ship's knowledge pouring into him, its thoughts intertwining with his own. He was no longer just a passenger. He was a part of the ship's very essence. For a moment, everything seemed to stop. The ship was waiting for him to act. Alex closed his eyes, focusing on the vast knowledge he now held. He could access the ship's systems, its technologies, and its weaponry. But more importantly, he understood its purpose. The ship wasn't just a relic. It was a tool, an artifact designed to protect the galaxy from a force that had been growing for centuries. Alex's thoughts raced. What should he do with all of this power? The temptation to use the ship's advanced technology to conquer, to rule, was strong. But he knew better. The ship had warned him. This power could be used for good or for destruction. He was the one who would decide its fate. His mind flashed back to the message the ship's AI had given him earlier. The galaxy is in danger. Forces far beyond your comprehension seek to destroy everything. Alex understood now. There was a threat, something larger than anything humanity had ever faced. The ship had been created to stop it, but it had been abandoned. Until now. He quickly made up his mind. Alex would use the ship to protect, to unite. Humanity would not fall into the trap of power for power's sake. The ship could change everything, but only if it was used wisely. With newfound determination, Alex walked through the ship, the path ahead clear in his mind. He accessed the ship's control systems, pushing the buttons and levers that glowed in response to his commands. As the ship's AI came online, he began reprogramming it, shifting its focus from war to peace. He adjusted the systems, unlocking the full potential of the ship's technology, not for destruction, but for creation. He knew that the ship could help humanity rise above its past mistakes, to become a force for good in the galaxy. But as Alex worked, the ship's systems began to alert him to an incoming threat. The hum of the ship grew louder, and the atmosphere shifted. Something was coming, something dangerous. Alex quickly opened a holographic map of the galaxy and saw several ships approaching at high speed. They were not human. Hostiles. The AI spoke, its voice now colder, more urgent. Alien factions. They seek the power of the ship. Alex's stomach tightened. He had no time to waste. The ship was not just a weapon. It was a beacon, a signal to those who would stop at nothing to claim it. The battle for control of the ship had already begun. Without hesitation, Alex activated the ship's defenses. Powerful energy shields enveloped the vessel, and turrets hidden within the ship's walls emerged, locking onto the incoming ships. But Alex knew that he couldn't rely solely on the ship's technology. He had to think quickly, use the knowledge he had gained to outsmart his enemies. As the hostile ships closed in, Alex prepared for the fight of his life. The ship had given him its power, and now it was time to prove that humanity, with its ingenuity, could stand against any threat the galaxy. The sound of sirens echoed through the ship as Alex stood at the command station, his heart racing. The alien ships were getting closer, their silhouettes visible against the darkness of space. The Raven, no longer just a salvage ship, but now a massive, powerful vessel, was ready for battle, its systems coming online one by one. The energy shields hummed to life, glowing with a fierce, protective light. Alex's hands moved quickly over the control panel, activating the ship's defense systems. Turrets emerged from the ship's hidden compartments, rotating into position with a soft whir. His fingers danced over the holographic controls, locking onto the enemy vessels that were closing in from all sides. He could feel the ship responding to his every command, as if it were a living, breathing entity, and he was its conductor. Incoming fire, the ship's eye warned, its voice calm but urgent. Prepare for impact. Alex's stomach tightened. This wasn't just a battle for control of the ship. It was a battle for the future of humanity. If these hostile ships gained control of the Raven, they would use its power for destruction. There was no turning back now. The first blast hit the shields with a heavy thud, sending a ripple of energy through the ship. The lights flickered momentarily, but the shields held. Alex gritted his teeth and tightened his grip on the controls. He had no intention of losing this fight. "Return fire," Alex commanded. The ship's weapon system responded instantly. Powerful energy blasts shot from the turrets, tearing through space toward the enemy ships. The first few shots missed their targets, but Alex adjusted the aim, focusing on the lead vessel. Another blast, and this time, the shot hit home. The enemy ship rocked, a massive explosion erupting on its side. The crew on board must have been thrown into chaos, but Alex didn't slow down. "One down," Alex muttered, his voice steady despite the adrenaline pumping through his veins. More to go. The remaining enemy ships scattered, attempting to outmaneuver the Raven by weaving in and out of the fire. Alex could see their tactics. They were skilled, but they underestimated the ship's power. The AI offered him strategic suggestions, calculating angles and trajectories faster than he could think. "Activate the targeting system," Alex said. "Lock on to their weak points." The ship's systems adjusted again, locking on to the alien vessels. One by one, Alex fired. Each shot hit with precision, taking out shields and causing explosions that rocked the enemy ships. The battle felt like a deadly dance, with the Raven and its enemies circling each other, each waiting for the right moment to strike. But it wasn't just the ship's weapons that Alex had to rely on. He had something the aliens didn't: human ingenuity. As the enemy ships regrouped for a counterattack, Alex quickly accessed the ship's control panel and activated an experimental cloaking device. The Raven shimmered and then disappeared from view, cloaking itself in the shadows of space. Where did it go? One of the enemy ship's commanders must have wondered. The remaining ships scattered, confused, unable to track their target. Alex smiled to himself. This was the advantage he needed. He waited until the enemy ships were close, then reappeared directly in the center of their formation. He fired without hesitation, taking them by surprise. The first ship exploded, followed by another. The third ship tried to retreat, but it was too late. Alex's targeting system locked on, and with one final shot, the last ship was destroyed. The battle was over. The Raven had won. Alex sat back in the command chair, breathing heavily. His heart was still racing, but a sense of relief washed over him. The alien threat had been neutralized, but he knew this was only the beginning. There were others out there, other forces that would stop at nothing to control the ship. But for now, Alex had proven that humanity, with all its ingenuity and determination, could stand against any threat. The ship's eye spoke again, its voice calm but with a note of respect. "You have won this battle, Alex Carter, but the war is far from over." Alex nodded, his eyes scanning the stars ahead. He had won today, but the future was still uncertain. Whatever came next, he was ready. The battle had ended, but Alex couldn't shake the feeling that the worst was yet to come. The enemy ships had been destroyed, but the victory felt hollow. The ship had proven its power, but what was its true purpose? The core, now fully activated, was still pulsing with energy, its light casting shadows across the control room. Alex could feel it. The ship was waiting for him to make the next move. It was as if it had only just begun to reveal its true potential. He leaned over the control panel, staring at the glowing symbols and the map of the galaxy that still displayed on the screen. The ship's AI hummed softly in his mind, like a constant presence, guiding him. The information it had shared was overwhelming, but one thing stood out. The ship wasn't just a weapon. It was a key to something much bigger. "You have unlocked the first layer of the ship's power." The AI's voice resonated in his mind. "But there is more. Much more." Alex wasn't sure what he had expected, but this was something beyond his imagination. The ship had been dormant for centuries, yet its systems had been carefully preserved, waiting for someone like him to awaken them. But what was the ship's true purpose? What had it been designed for? "Show me," Alex said aloud, his voice steady, but filled with curiosity. The AI responded without hesitation, shifting the display in front of him. The map of the galaxy was replaced by something else, an ancient set of coordinates, hidden deep in uncharted space, a location that was marked with a single, ominous word: origin. Alex's eyes narrowed. "What is this?" "That," the AI explained, "is the origin point of the ship's creation, the place where it all began. It is where you will find the answers to everything." Alex felt a chill run down his spine. The origin point. It sounded like something out of a legend, a myth. But here it was, right in front of him, a location that held the key to everything. The power of the ship, its true purpose, and perhaps even the fate of the galaxy itself. "How do I get there?" Alex asked, his mind racing with possibilities. "Follow the coordinates," the AI responded simply. "But be warned, the journey will not be easy. The ship's enemies are not far behind. They will stop at nothing to prevent you from reaching the origin point." Alex knew it wasn't going to be simple. The enemy forces would be relentless. But he had made his choice. He couldn't back down now. Not after everything he had learned. Not after seeing the potential of the ship. If the galaxy was truly in danger, then this was his chance to do something about it. He stood up, turning toward the command center. His fingers moved swiftly over the controls, plotting a course to the origin point. The ship hummed as it adjusted its trajectory, ready to set sail into the unknown. The ship's engines roared to life, and Alex felt the familiar rush of motion as they began to accelerate. The stars outside blurred as the ship entered faster than light travel. The journey had begun. As Alex looked out into the vast emptiness of space, a thought crossed his mind. He had the power now. The fate of the galaxy was in his hands. But with that power came responsibility. The ship was not just a tool to be wielded. It was a force that needed to be respected. And Alex would make sure that it would be used for good. The ship's true purpose was still out there, waiting for him to uncover it. And he was ready. The origin point awaited, and Alex was determined to reach it, no matter the cost. The ship accelerated through the vast expanse of space, its engines humming steadily as it followed the coordinates toward the mysterious origin point. Alex sat in the command center, his hands gripping the controls, his mind focused on the task ahead. The journey had taken them into the deepest, most uncharted regions of the galaxy, far beyond where any human ship had ever traveled. As the stars blurred past, a sense of anticipation filled the air. The unknown lay ahead, and Alex was ready to face it head-on. For the past few hours, the ship had remained silent, its systems working seamlessly as the AI navigated them toward their destination. Alex had grown accustomed to the quiet hum of the ship, the gentle rhythm of its movements. But now, the quiet was starting to feel heavy, as if the ship itself was aware of what was about to unfold. What's the status?" Alex asked, breaking the silence. "We are nearing the origin point," the AI replied, its voice calm yet filled with an undertone of urgency. "The coordinates are accurate. Prepare yourself for what lies ahead." Alex nodded, though he couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them. The ship's journey had been smooth so far, but the deeper they went into unknown space, the more uneasy he felt. Whatever lay at the origin point was powerful, and Alex had no idea what kind of danger they might encounter. But he couldn't turn back now. As they drew closer, the ship's systems began to react. The hum of the engines grew louder, the lights flickering as if the ship itself was sensing the approach to its origin. Alex's heartbeat quickened as the ship slowed, its engines powering down in preparation for arrival. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light filled the command center, followed by a deep, resonating vibration that rattled the ship. Alex grabbed the armrests of his chair, bracing himself for what was to come. The ship came to a halt. Ahead of them was a massive structure, unlike anything Alex had ever seen. It was a colossal, ancient station, floating in the void of space, its surface covered in strange patterns that seemed to pulse with an eerie, otherworldly energy. The station appeared to be dormant, yet Alex could feel the power radiating from it. This was the origin point, the place where the ship had been created, and perhaps the place where the answers to everything would be revealed. "Is this it?" Alex whispered, his voice filled with awe and trepidation. "Yes," the AI responded. "This is the heart of the ship's origin, the source of its power. Here, you will find the truth." Alex stood up from his chair, his mind racing. This was it. The answers he had been searching for were just beyond the ship's walls. He could feel the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. This wasn't just about unlocking the ship's potential anymore. It was about understanding the forces at play in the galaxy. What had the ship been created for? Why had it been abandoned? And most importantly, who else was out there, waiting to claim its power? As the ship docked with the massive station, the doors slid open with a soft hiss, revealing a dark, quiet chamber. The air inside was thick, cold, and still. Alex stepped forward, feeling the weight of history pressing down on him. The truth was waiting for him, but he also knew that once he stepped inside, nothing would ever be the same. He took a deep breath and entered the station. The air around him seemed to hum with energy, and for the first time, Alex felt the full weight of the ship's power. Whatever was hidden inside, he was ready to find it. The journey had led him here, and now he was about to uncover the truth that would shape the future of the galaxy. He stepped forward into the darkness, the door closing behind him. The future awaited. As Alex stepped deeper into the ancient station, a sense of foreboding filled the air. The chamber around him was vast, its walls lined with strange symbols that glowed faintly in the dim light. The hum of energy was constant, almost as if the very structure of the station was alive, reacting to his presence. His footsteps echoed in the silence, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something, or someone, was watching him. He took another step forward, his eyes scanning the walls, searching for any clue as to what the station was, or what it had once been. He had come so far, but now that he was here, the questions only seemed to multiply. The ship had led him to this place, but what had it truly been created for? And why had it been hidden away for so long? The AI's voice broke through his thoughts. "The truth is within reach, Alex. But be cautious. What you discover here will change everything." Alex nodded, though the warning only made him more determined. There was no turning back now. The galaxy's future rested on the answers he would uncover in this forgotten place. Ahead of him, a large doorway loomed. It was framed by glowing symbols, and as Alex approached, the door slowly slid open, revealing a vast hall beyond. In the center of the room stood a massive spherical object, glowing with an intense pulsing light. It was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. It was beautiful, yet terrifying, a strange mix of organic and mechanical, as if it were both living and made of metal at the same time. "That is the core," the AI explained. "It is the source of the ship's power, and the origin of everything." Alex approached the core slowly, his mind racing. This was it. The answers he had been searching for, the reason the ship had been abandoned, and the role he was meant to play in all of this, lay right before him. The core pulsed with energy, and as he stepped closer, a voice filled the room. An ancient voice, full of wisdom and sadness. "You have come," the voice said, its tone deep and resonant. "The ship has chosen you, Alex Carter, but you must understand the cost of this power." The voice was not the AI, but something older, something more ancient. It was the voice of the creators of the ship, the ones who had built it to defend the galaxy from a threat that was still out there. The power of the ship of the core had been designed to stop this threat, but it had been hidden away when the war ended, its creators vanishing to prevent the power from falling into the wrong hands. "The threat has never truly gone away," the voice continued. "It has only waited. And now, you must decide whether to use the power to fight or to hide from it. Alex's heart pounded in his chest. The enemy, the ones who had come to claim the ship's power, were not just after the ship. They were after the core, the heart of everything. The core was not just a weapon. It was a warning, a signal that the galaxy was still in danger. You have the power to change the future, the voice said, but you must choose wisely. The galaxy is at a crossroads. What happens next depends on you. Alex felt the weight of the decision pressing down on him. He had the power to change everything, to destroy the enemy, to reshape the galaxy, or even to unlock a new era of peace. But he knew the danger of such power. The choice he made here would shape the future of humanity and the galaxy for generations to come. He took a deep breath, his mind clear. He wasn't just a salvager anymore. He was the one who held the key to the galaxy's future. And with that realization, he made his decision. I will fight, Alex said firmly, his voice steady. I will protect the galaxy. I will use this power for good. The core's light grew brighter, and for the first time, Alex felt truly connected to the ship. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. He would not let the galaxy fall into darkness. The battle had only just begun, and Alex Carter was ready to face whatever came next. The ship had chosen him. Now, he would lead humanity into the future.